A day spent collecting smiles, waves, and hugs. May 27th, 2015. First thing this morning, I stopped in at Knighton Motel to pay for the rooms I had booked for my out-of-town guests for the Pay It Forward picnic over the weekend. At the same time, I checked my Lotto Max tickets from the weekend. Rarely do I buy lotto tickets, but everything was going so well, I thought I'd try my luck. And I won 2 free plays. Not bad. So when my motel bill was paid, I told the gals behind the counter to put Knighton Motel staff on the 2 tickets, and I wished them good luck. So I collected my first set of smiles for the day. I drove up to Bear Lake Road for my first job. Customer lost satellite signal. He told me that a really strong gust of wind came from the east and they lost signal. Actually, the dish moved about 2 millimeters, so I loosened the adjusting bolts and had a nice strong signal in a couple of minutes. Retightened the bolts, and we were all set. I told the customer there'd be no charge. I don't get paid by Shaw for service work, so I collected a second set of smiles, and it wasn't even 9:15 yet. I called my second customer, but he told me they weren't ready for me to come yet, as they decided to do some renovating first, and they would call me when ready to do the work. Okay, no problem. I have other things to do. I stopped in at the Edson Public Library and asked if they wanted a copy of my book, Come Walk With Me. Talk about excited. She called her co-worker out to the front desk and told her about the donation. More smiles, followed by a request to come back one day for an author's presentation. I replied that I would happily do that when they are ready. The girls couldn't contain themselves. Third set of smiles collected for my Smiley Bank. I stopped in for a short visit with a former Edson school principal. Our friendship goes back over 35 years ago when we both attended administration meetings. I gave Alba a copy of my book. We shared stories over tea, and our visit concluded with several hugs. Good for the heart. At 11:30, I was scheduled to meet up with Carrie, Alexander, and Quinn, my little adopted family, at Talisman Swimming Pool. Alex was keen to get in the water, but had to wait 25 minutes, so he tried every trick he knew to sneak into the door leading to the pool, but Mom was way ahead of him most of the time. Again, I was very fortunate to collect many smiles and hugs. And it's not even noon yet. Over the afternoon, I dropped off more books, but most people were not home, so I just left them in safe places so they wouldn't get damaged if it rained. I did, however, get some big smiles and thanks from the office staff of Holy Redeemer High, as well as Pine Grove School, when they received their copies of my book. When I crossed the parking lot and went into Parkland Composite High, I wasn't even close to the counter when a longtime friend and a former neighbor came around the counter and gave me a big hug. Rose Vollo Dick told me that it had been too long since we last met, but now I have a big hug to remember this occasion. Partway through the afternoon, I get 2 notifications from friends who have posted something on my timeline. It happens to be 2 friends from Nova Scotia who just received the parcel which had 2 books. One for a former student from Knighton, Rowana Vana Siddal, she calls me Papa, and the second for her close friend Jennifer Phillips, who helps whenever she can. Both girls flash big smiles along with a photo of my book. Long-distance smiles, but both are very much appreciated. Now it's time to pick up an afternoon fresh fruit treat before heading toward home. My van is parked downhill from the store so that I get a bit of exercise. As I make my way up to the store, an arm waves out a van window, pulls over, and Cindy Hearns jumps out to give me a big hug. She apologizes for not coming to the picnic on Saturday, as she had to work, but she is really enjoying my book. In fact, she had to stop reading it in the store because she was constantly in tears, and that didn't look good as customers were walking in the store. Cindy explained that these were not sad tears, but tears of joy caused by what she read. Now she must save her reading until she gets home from work. One more hug, and off we go. In addition to a fresh fruit treat, I also pick up some cinnamon buns. Not sure why, but it seemed like a good idea. When I get back to the truck, I enjoy the fresh fruit, then head east to visit an old friend before heading home. Just before I get to his place, I see a crew tarring the old highway at Wolf Creek. It's hot, but I don't have anything cold to share, so as I'm slowly passing them, I hand one guy the sheet of cinnamon buns through the passenger window. As I'm heading down the road, I look in the mirror and see them all standing in a group. Looks like work has come to a standstill. I have a really nice visit with Al Knight. I am greeted with a really firm handshake. What a blessing. Only 9 months ago, that handshake was not nearly as strong. Even though he still uses supplementary oxygen, he tells me that this is as good as he's felt in a long time. Lenise and I share a cannabis capsule secret. We always have quite a variety of topics to cover, and the time passes quickly. Now it is time to go. So another handshake and another smile to carry me down the road. As I head back down the same road which the workers were tarring, I see that they are all finished. A black truck is coming toward me, and suddenly a big tanned arm comes out the window and gives me a huge wave. I wonder who it is, until we come closer, and I see the big tarring tank on the back. I guess the crew enjoyed my cinnamon buns. This evening, I get 2 more posts on my timeline. Tammy Hickey wants to know when I was there to drop off the book, and she tells me the page I had marked in her book brought her to tears. Joanna James also informs me that she missed getting a hug, along with her book. She and I used to teach together at Knighton about 20 years ago. Gee, I must be old. I now have many smiles, waves, and hugs to put away in my bank to make withdrawals when the going gets tough, like it was when I had a kidney stone on the move on Monday. But even then I was very thankful, because it didn't take a hike on Saturday during the Pay It Forward picnic. Life is good.